Hi everybody, Christopher Yaks here with Yaks Yoga Concepts, and today I'd like to talk to you about a concept called tension versus compression and how that's related to what we'll take as Warrior Two. And so if you begin the practice, there's a lot of tightness in the body just from the natural day-to-day habits that we have, and so yoga helps that. It'll stretch the muscles out, it'll get them stronger and more flexible, and so your body will open in different ways. When you practice for a long enough period of time, you'll most likely get to a point that you've reached a point of compression where it's bone compressing into soft tissue, pressing into another bone, and at that point yoga can't help you anymore. It doesn't mean the pose ends, it just means that the way we approach the pose needs to be adjusted. And so for Warrior Two, what that looks like is there's what's called abduction, a separation of the legs, an external rotation of the, well in this case it'll be the right leg, and then a flexion, you're bending at the knee and the hip. And so what you'll hear a lot is that the hips in a Warrior Two need to be square to the wall that the body's facing. Now, in the beginning, to square the hips, maybe a tension thing here where it just draws the knee in. Now, to keep the knee protected and to have a sustainable practice for the knee joint particularly, it's more important that the knee stays over the ankle in line with the middle toes. So in the beginning, that may draw this hip forward because there's tension here. So as you practice more and more, you may be able to keep the knee aligned and draw the hip back. But over time, your practice may show you that you practice long enough and consistently enough that it may not be tension anymore. You may be reaching a point of compression in the hip where this knee to stay in line and this hip to draw back so the hips are square may never happen. And so how do you know? The real question is, well, where are you feeling it? If you're feeling it deep in the hip, the joint itself, you may have reached a point of compression. It also means, like, how long have you been practicing for? If you're just new to it or kind of practicing for a year or two, you're still at a level where there's most likely a lot of tension that needs to be worked through. But over time, just recognize that sometimes it's not a limitation of you and your body, it's how the body's made, and you've reached a point where there's no more flexibility, there's no more opening to be created. Again, it doesn't mean the pose ends, it just means our approach to the pose has to be adjusted so that we're still practicing with sustainability and longevity as our highest priority. So I appreciate your time. Thank you, and namaste.